Back in Lafiaji community, dotting the shoreline are logs from destroyed homes and, of course, the remains of a shipwreck. Some have argued that this wreck and the government sea breaker may be the cause of the erosion currently being witnessed in the area. To those who have monitored the occurrences on the coastlines, a lot still has to be done to ensure their safety. For instance, it is difficult to enforce the law that protects the coastline. According to the Merchant Act of 2007, every ship owner is responsible for the removal of his vessel. But like the previous shipwrecks, most owners cannot afford the cost of evacuating a wrecked ship. That is the reason for many being abandoned. However, it is also within the stipulation of the law that if a ship owner cannot afford to remove the wreck, as a matter of responsibility to the people and marine environment, relevant government authorities such as the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nigerian Ports Authority, and the Ministry of Transport should collaborate on the removal. These agencies are also responsible for making laws that prohibit non-sailable ships to go on shore. But the game of who is responsible has been a contentious one. In 2013, there was a memorandum of understanding stating that all wrecks within the Lagos Channel that constitute an impediment to marine navigation would be a responsibility of the Nigerian Port Authority, while those outside the channel would be the responsibility of NEMASA as a safety agency. Today, wrecks are still on the Lagos coastlines, wreaking havoc. The Ecological Fund, a special intervention facility under the presidency to tackle ecological problems such as coastal erosion, flood, drought, desertification, oil spillage, and general environmental pollution, is also responsible for intervening at such a juncture so as to remove immediate threats. But so far, the fund has not had any impact. Many have said the federal government's attention is needed to complement the effort of Lagos State government to combat the ocean scourge.
If you consider in our constitution, the coast, I think it's 150 meters from the seashore, is actually federal territory anyway. And the federal government has a massive amount of money from the Ecology Fund, which is specifically meant for these sort of emergency interventions to protect lives and property in threatened areas. The federal government defaulted, the state government filled the gap. And I think they've really done more than they would have been expected to do. One hopes that they will do a bit more, but one also hopes that this ridiculous disconnect and this infantile, foolish politics that's been playing along, federal, you're not with me, states, all will stop. And the people who are controlling these various agencies will start to do the job that they're employed to do.
The Lagos State government has shown commitment to implementing its megacity project, which involves land reclamation for the Eco-Atlantic City project and the export processing zone. The land reclamation has been cited as a predisposing factor to the ocean surge in the Lekki axis.
When they started bringing the stones close to the houses, whenever they are bringing stone close to your area, the surge disturbs. That is, it is, and if it is coming that way, it eats the sands away, and even houses that are around.
It is therefore imperative that the state government builds adequate barriers to forestall ocean surge in the affected areas.
This erosion goes all the way down the coast. It's just exacerbated here because of the nearness of the last groin that was made at Okoafo. But it goes all the way down the coast, and the coast needs to be protected.
Environmentalists have said the persistence of the surge creates the impression that the state has been tackling the menace with palliative measures.
Well, the groin will not necessarily stop it. What happens is that you're just pushing it away to the next place that is not fortified. Because of the current as it flows downwards towards the east. So what happens is that when that current flows, it flows away from where the groins are, then it starts eating up where there are no groins. So the best thing to do is to continue it to a place where it will not affect it as it's affecting it right now. Because I tell you what, it is really, really eating it, and it's eating it very fast.
Meanwhile, in 2016, the Lagos state government said it has earmarked 36 billion naira for the construction of 18 groins, otherwise known as sea breakers, that will help address the challenges of ocean surge. Each of the groins would be constructed at a cost of 2 billion naira along the entire length of 7.5 kilometers. Environmentalists warn the erosion will always continue eastward of the groins due to the west to east ocean current flow. They say it is imperative that these groins are erected all the way down the coast, warning that the country shall be caught in a disaster of unprecedented proportions on this fragile coastline, where the shoreline beach buffer between the ocean and the low-lying inland area of Lekki, which is now only 30 meters away from the ocean in some places.
Because it was only state government, they only have a certain amount of power. This is emergency money. God knows where they were able to pull this money out of. Because, money that could be going to the states, a certain percentage is taken for the ecology fund. So that's where the money for this intervention should be coming from, the ecology fund. And people are asking, why hasn't money come from the ecology fund? What's happening to the ecology fund money? And there's people who are now saying, we are following the money. We're following that money. Wherever you're keeping it, we're going to follow it, we're going to unearth it, and we're going to make sure that this money gets back to the people for whom it was designated to be used in the first place.
It is predicted that by 2050, the seas might have risen 1 meter and places like Lagos will be underwater. Although the cause of sea level rise is due to global warming, coastline neglect leading to erosion such as this can aggravate a disaster in the already vulnerable areas.
We need to protect the environment. We need to remember that this environment is a God-given creation that is actually our life support system and our children's life support system. The least we can do if we want to claim to have any iota of responsibility in our hearts and our minds, that if we want to justify the proclamations of love that we keep expressing for our children, the least that we can do is to protect, care, and look after their very life support systems.
Are you hopeful?
I'm very, very hopeful, because one thing I've noticed, a common denominator runs across mankind, and particularly womankind, is a deep, genuine love for their children.
Scientists world over have come to a consensus that there is a paradigm shift in addressing the global warming and environmental issues, and focus is now on disaster risk reduction. This simply is accepting that natural disasters are bound to occur due to the location of certain countries on the globe. But what governments need to do is mitigation, reducing the risk and making lives less vulnerable. Well, that's our program for the day. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.